Right, so I am trying a new camera for this video, so I'm hoping it's the right orientation, it's the right way. I guess I'll find out in editing. I have finished the four of these. I showed you on my Flossmass video that I'd started them. I have now finished them. These are some of the quilted trees from Hello from Liz Matthews. This colourway was the way on her Patreon. She also has her festive trees. Now I am going to be finishing these. I have these really cute little spools. As you can see, one of them I've actually used the thread from, and I have a few others. I'm going to use these to have them standing up. I do have a fourth one. It has just dropped on the floor and rolled away. I also picked up, I've had these in my stash for a while, but I know they're still available, from The Works. These are the Make and Crate wooden dowels. And what I have done is I have just snapped them into four parts. Now, I haven't snapped them equally. What I did was I snapped them and then just trimmed them with scissors. And I didn't want them done equally because I don't want them all to be the same length. I would like a little bit of variety in the length, so that way when I display them, I've got a little bit of a staggered effect. So I am going to try my best to show you different angles of this. I will also try and show you when I'm on the sewing machine. We will see what angles we can get with this little new camera that I've got. Hopefully audio's okay. What I'll probably do is actually do a speed up and a voiceover, just because otherwise this video is going to be far too long, and I already know it's getting late in the evening, so I want to get these finished, and then I can have them up on display. But these are really cute. I have stitched them before, I just didn't finish them in the tree shape. I finished it as like a hanging ornament. This one is the one that I've stitched before, and I gave it to a friend in a smalls exchange. So I am going to get on with finishing this, and I will just show you some of the clips.
So, voiceover Beth here. It is 4 a.m. and really shouldn't be doing a voiceover when I'm this tired, but this is Flossmass. So, ironing onto the back of my piece, I have decided to use interfacing. I have this little scrap that was on my desk, which is probably the reason I'm doing interfacing, let's be honest. Making sure, please don't do what I've just done and iron the wrong side of the spare interfacing to your iron. 4 a.m. brain was not working. I do iron the front of my pieces in this case, but I am a little bit careful. Now I'm going to draw my grid lines. So I'm on Ada, 18 count Ada, so my pieces are teeny tiny when it comes to finishing. But I have just done 3 stitches above the middle center of my tree. And then I've gone from the top corner to the bottom corner, just in making sure that that last few stitches are included. I really wanted mine tight. Now I'm using a felt for the back of my trees. You could use fabric. I just find with small shapes like this, felt tends to stand up a little bit stronger than fabric. And these ones I knew were going to be a nightmare when it came to turning them the right side. So, right sides to right sides together, back stitching at the top to make sure that those points are stable, as well as on each of the turns of the side. Now I'm cutting mine out very close to the stitching, and this is where I realized I hate myself. So I have left such a small gap that I had to unpick some of my stitches. Now this is not an easy shape to turn around. I can see why it said to use a 16 count, and some people recommended a 14 count, because your trees won't be so tiny. Mine is on an 18 count and they are teeny tiny and a nightmare to turn out, but I have done it and they are really, really sweet. Just taking the stick, the wooden dowel that I'm actually going to be using for finishing, and using that to push the points out. Now I'm using a toy filling, just a fibre fill. You could use wool roving and that would probably make them a little bit puffier and stand up well, but as mine are only going to be out for a small part of the year, I thought I would just go with toy filling. As you can see, I put the stick in the middle just to make sure that everything stays. The part I didn't catch on clip is I did put a dab of glue onto the top of the dowel and then I pushed that into the roving. I have decided to stitch mine closed now. I was feeling a bit lazy and thought no one's going to see the fact that I'm not using a dark coloured thread for this, and to be honest, you can't tell. So I'm just stitching, just going over it with a whip stitch, and then just going over the whole thing. I think I got a bit lazy at this point. You can see just rescuing that dowel and just making sure that it is nice and secure. So that way I have all the stitches in and it will stay closed. Now, using the little dabber glue means I can pull the dowel out if I want to for the actual finishing purposes. But here we go, just going to finish stitching this and then we will be all done and I will have a nice little tree. So I'll insert some photos just so you can see what the trees look. So I am really glad that I have these trees stitched. These have been ones that I've wanted to do on my list for a while. But now I am on to the next project. So I will see you in tomorrow's Flossmass. Happy stitching. Bye!